SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
We'll pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Roll A, fade up on A.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
Okay, everybody, welcome to SuperTalk Eagle Hour is on the road. 2 days of regional baseball. Man, we've been looking forward to this. Be on the air today from 1 to 3 o'clock. And we're broadcasting from the Warren & Warren Asphalt Suite here at Pete Taylor Park. And we're very grateful to Josh Warren and his family for allowing us to use this beautiful suite for our broadcast the next 2 days. Of course, Warren & Warren, family-owned asphalt contractor serving Mississippi for over 40 years. They do paving, seal coating, asphalt repair for residential, commercial, and industrial clients, driveways, parking lots, always emphasizing quality and customer service. And it's Ben Winpigler here to my left. Used to work in the ticket office here. They have paved a lot of parking lots for baseball and softball here. They're a great family, and we really do appreciate them allowing us to be up here. Special coverage is sponsored by Warren & Warren Asphalt, Corner Market Food Stores, Pearl River Resorts, Royal Home Center in Laurel, and Bank First, and you'll be hearing a lot about those great businesses throughout the next 2 days. Hey, we're delighted to have Travis Creel in the suite with us. We talk to Travis every Monday all through baseball season, but it's rare that we can get him, with us, and we're grateful. Number one, Travis, grateful for all your interviews, and I do want to let people know they hear a lot of baseball player interviews on this show, and you accommodate me every week with that, and you set those up and coordinate that, and I'm grateful to you for that.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate your coverage.
Man, we're excited about being here. I know you're excited, the whole team. Give us kind of the mindset of the baseball team right now.
Yeah, obviously in a great place. Coming off an awesome week in Montgomery, dodging the weather and coming away with a championship. And, Coach Berry told us after we won it on Sunday, only the third time in school history, we've won the regular season and the tournament. So, special group. We've come out the last 2 days and had good practices, and they're ready to roll.
Yeah, they really have been playing very, very well. What was it that pleased you the most about their performance in Montgomery? Just
kind of complimentary baseball. I mean, there was, game one, Graydon goes 3 and we get in the rain delay, and we had to have some pitchers step up, and we kind of won a tight, higher-scoring game. And then, being down game 2 and showing the resilience we showed to walk off Troy and then getting punched in the face, our first loss in a while that next day, and just coming back, finding a way to have enough energy in that Montgomery heat to win 2 games in 1 day.
Travis, I wanted to ask you about Tucker Stockman and his bat over the weekend. I mean, he was huge for you all, came up in clutch moments, kind of a guy throughout most of the season, you wanted to see more from him, and really, really good weekend for Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker's been good. He's been good for a couple weeks now and very confident and put in a lot of work. Tucker's the kind of kid, you want your daughter to marry. He's a genius. He's an ultimate competitor. He's a great Christian kid. He checks all the boxes, and, it's always good when those kind of kids get rewarded.
And then have y'all given Seth Smith Dustin Dickerson's bat for 2023?
Yeah, something. He got into that ball in the championship. That set the tone. It really did. Right. That stuff's contagious. And, man, what in that bat, left on left, get that 3-1 heater, and he didn't miss it. So, yeah, he's looked great. And, again, he's looked great for a couple weeks now. So, really like where we're at.
Not to discount anything that any of the guys have done as hitters, Coach Creel, but can you give us 1 or 2 examples of guys that you think have made the most progress just hitting the baseball from even going back to the fall to where we are now? Some of the biggest hurdles that guys have had to clear, and a couple guys that have covered the most ground, maybe.
Yeah, the main one's probably Seth. He had a pretty rough fall. He got beat out. Didn't start opening day. Didn't start opening weekend. Got a pinch hit on I think our 4th game of the year when we were struggling, and had a big hit. We ended up winning that game. We beat Southeastern, and he took over and he hadn't let up. And he's given us quality at bats. And honestly, since he's moved to the leadoff spot, that's really when we've been starting to roll. So he's probably the biggest one. Again, rough fall, got beat out, and just kept working. And now he's in our leadoff spot hosting a regional.
I know there is great anticipation with the teams coming in this weekend, but I kind of get the feeling, too, just in the brief times that we've had to talk with the guys, that this is getting to be nothing unusual for your Eagle team. This is what you guys were designed to do. This is when the snooze alarm goes off, if there was ever one on. This is what you guys are made to do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 regionals and 2 super regionals in the last, 5 years, something like that. So that's insane. It's insane the stretch that this program's been on. It's awesome to see, and it's just cool because this city and these kids earned it and deserve it. The work they put in and the kind of people they are, it's good to see them get rewarded.
Postscript on Seth Smith. I don't think people realize lots of times the additional pressure that hitters put on themselves when they aren't in the starting lineup and then get that opportunity. There's almost that feeling of, I've got to do something exceptional to break into this lineup, which only compounds the pressure.
No, for sure. I've been in those shoes as a player where you feel like if you don't get a hit, you're not playing the next day. It's a tough way to live, believe me. And you got to get to a point mentally, and everybody can get there at some point. Sometimes it takes kids longer than others where you just kind of say screw it and you go just play and have fun and kind of let the chips fall where they may. And he's definitely playing free.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, obviously you don't want to give us all your tips and all that things, but you've had a chance probably to look at all the teams now coming here. What jumps out on the page about some of these teams coming to Hattiesburg? Yeah,
obviously Virginia's a great program. Been to Omaha, I think 6 times in the last 10 years or so, obviously with a national championship and a national runner-up. Very historic program with them. Jacksonville State, everybody had them pegged as a 2 seed, and they got a 3 seed, so probably the best on paper 3 seed in America. And then Little Rock as a 4 seed, 36 wins, made it to a regional final against the national champions last year. And, have really good players who have been in big games and big moments. And their Friday guy's pretty impressive too.
Little Rock really took LSU to the wire last year. I know the average fan is going to look at that and say, "Oh, Little Rock, my God, that's a snoozer." No, right?
No, not at all. At this point in the year, anybody you play, right? I mean, whether it was Army a couple years ago, I mean that guy we face is in the big leagues already. You can go on, and we lost to Columbia last year, obviously, in the opening game. So every team at this level that's still playing baseball is really good, and there's a reason they're here.
Are you ready to tell us who the starting pitcher is going to be in Game 1?
I don't know who the starting pitcher is going to be. I'm going to let Coach Oz answer that question.
Okay, and because you're here, there's no chance at all that's going to happen. Wanted to go ahead and thank you for that.
I got a feeling they might know. They're just,
Did you notice he dressed up for you, Travis?
I did. I like that shirt, Kelly.
Well, that's his black. Only Kelly wears a black and white Hawaiian shirt.
What did you describe it, Kelly? That's something from TV that was black and white?
Yeah, I got this back in the 60s when TV wasn't even in color yet. So you're only
held up well.
You're only going to see it in black and white anyway,
Travis, I wanted to ask you about Dre Barrett and just his strides throughout the season, the home runs he hits. I'm wondering when he moved to DH with the hamstring injury, to me that's where a change happened. I don't know if you would feel that, but, if you look at his numbers since then, batting over 400, all those things, I don't know if it kind of just reset his mind or what.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't feel that way. I feel like when he plays third, he still gives us good at-bats. I just think with Dre, he's finally hit a level of maturation where, he's very strong and he likes to hit the ball far, and sometimes he just overdoes it. He's 110% when he's taking swings, and kind of gives some at-bats away early, like, we'll chase pitchers' pitches, and lately he's just been laying off pitchers' pitches and getting something that he can handle. And when he does that, he's, if not the best hitter on our team, one of the best.
Well, we asked Oz what he did when the now legendary Grand Slam occurred. What was your reaction? What did you do?
I was screaming at all of our runners to be sure they touched third base and touched home plate, and made sure there was no fights going on. And then once I saw everybody touch third, I just I threw my helmet in the dugout and just big sigh of relief.
Oh, so you felt the love on the field between the two teams that night.
You could definitely feel it. Yeah, you could definitely feel it between when the Trojans and Eagles hook up. It's
pretty exciting when they hook up.
Well, it's a good thing you got Russo running interference.
Yeah, big Russo. Yeah.
Hey, Coach? What do you think's going through Camden Clark's mind now, going into the district, particularly with the bump that he had last weekend?
Yeah, I think he's good. He's a very mentally tough kid. For whatever reason, a couple of our guys struggle with that mound in Montgomery. It's a dirt mound, obviously. It's very hard. Nothing you can really do about that when it's 100 degrees and windy. But, yeah, he just couldn't land an off-speed pitch, and he knows that. But I think being back here, being more comfortable, he's had one other bad start on the year. And that next week he was nails. So
and he performs well
I was
here.
saying both of those are on the road, if I'm not
that's
mistaken.
Right. At South Alabama.
Yeah.
And then in Montgomery.
How about Ty Long coming back on that championship day, 3 for 4? I mean, really big for you on the 9-hole.
Yeah, that was huge. I thought the push bunt in the second inning, followed by Seth's sack bunt and Joey's single, kind of sealed the deal. I mean, obviously we had a lot of outs to get, but that just sucked every ounce of confidence out of them. And we go leadoff single from Stockman, and then just a perfectly executed push bunt from Ty. And that's what he can do, man. He's athletic. He's probably our best athlete. So if he can get in those situations where he can kind of do some stuff handling the bat, that's when he's really good.
We're visiting with baseball coach Travis Creel. We're in the Warren & Warren Asphalt Suite here at P. Taylor Park, 2-hour show. Hey, as we head the break, I want to thank Corner Market Food Stores for making this possible today. Corner Market Stores, a special place to shop, 17 locations in Mississippi and Alabama. Seafood, locally butchered meat, fresh produce, bakeries, delis, flowers, and, of course, custom catering. It's not just a grocery store, it's Corner Market. More from the Pete right after this.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Hey, Bank First, with all the technology of a big bank, but the hometown service you know and trust, Bank First can handle all your banking needs, from checking accounts to ag loans and everything in between. Bank First can handle it all. To find a Bank First near you, visit bankfirst.com. And, of course, we want to thank Bank First, Royal Home Center, Pearl River Resorts, Corner Market Food Stores for sponsoring this special coverage of the Hattiesburg Regional, and, of course, our dear friends at Warren & Warren Asphalt for allowing us to use their beautiful suite up here to broadcast the show. And with the humidity outside, I can't tell you how grateful I am to Josh Warren. All right, we're going to bring on another guest on the show to join Coach Travis Creel and Dima and I, Scott Kirk, Sports Director, WDAM TV. Scott, welcome back, man. Told everybody that I know how hard you and Dima worked last week. Really enjoyed watching you guys, and you both did an exceptional job covering the Golden Eagles.
Oh, thank you. I'll tell Coach Creel, it makes it fun when the bats are clicking, too. It makes all our jobs easier.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend.
Yeah, go ahead. You can start out the question, Chuck, as you're our guest.
Well, Coach, I'll just ask this. I was curious to ask Oz as well. Mm-hmm. Maybe if there's an answer, what changes when you're prepping for a regional, right? Because you have 3 other teams coming, and obviously who knows what happens Saturday, Sunday, TBD. What changes for prep? Yeah,
the prep doesn't really change. There's just more of it. Obviously, the first thing on our minds is be sure our players are ready before anything. They come first, and then obviously with the scouting reports, it's just kind of like the conference tournament. Instead of one, and which takes 4 to 6 hours of probably video watching, there's 3 teams coming. So the prep itself doesn't really change. There's just more of it.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay.
Go ahead, guys.
Talk to us about some of the veterans on this team. You got a lot of seniors on the lineup. A lot of players who played a lot of college baseball.
Yep.
Been in these moments. I mean, that has to give you guys a leg up, and when you are trying to prepare your players for moments like these.
Sure. Yeah, you feel very comfortable. I mean, Russo's played in so many big games throughout his career, and here and in the postseason, and obviously Higdon and Urban got that experience last year as well, but. Yeah, we're very old. Offensively, you can look at the mound, too, with Colby. Mm-hmm. Graydon started a regional game as a freshman last year. You can go on and on. So, yeah, very experienced. A lot of these players in this regional are, though, if we're being honest. Little Rock's obviously been in the fire at Alex Box last year. Virginia's a perennial postseason team as well. So, but, yeah, it matters. It matters from being able to slow the game down and just being themselves. You don't want to get in these big games and we start trying to do stuff that we haven't done all year, right? We just want them to be themselves, and if we do that, we'll be fine.
Coach, just to add on to that, I was really impressed with Seth Smith at the tournament. I think he had 7 hits, and on Sunday specifically, it felt like he was a fire in the lineup. How can he carry that fire in the regional, and what's really impressed you about his play as of late?
Yeah, no, he's playing very confidently. He's playing very mature baseball, not taking too big of swings. Like I thought the game we walked off, his at bat there in the 9th kind of goes unnoticed, but it's 1 out, nobody on. It's a 1-2 count. He works at a 3-2 and then hits a single up the middle to kind of get the thing going. So yeah, he's been huge for us. We were talking about him earlier, where since we put him in that leadoff spot, he's kind of solidified this order. And again, we just need him to keep being himself. We don't need. We're in the postseason. We're at home in a regional. We don't need to start doing things that we haven't done all year. And I feel pretty comfortable that he's going to keep doing his thing.
You've been part of a lot of teams in regionals here at Southern Miss. We hear all the time from coaches. Every team's different. What about this team is different going into this postseason?
Well, I think we feel much better about our pitching depth than we did a year ago. Where last year, you obviously had JB and a couple guys on the back end, but other than that, it was at times nervy. You had Matt Adams, who was a veteran as well, but it was kind of top-heavy pitching staff, if we're being honest. This year, I think the depth's much better from an offensive standpoint. It's a lot of the same guys. Obviously, you lose a third-rounder and a fourth-rounder, but Morrison stepped in for Monastery really well, and I guess Ty Long's kind of taking that next spot in the 9 hole. So, yeah, I think the main thing different this year is, one, we're experienced in that setting as a unit, and then secondly, probably the pitching depth.
I think the most impressive thing to me about this team, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, Travis, is that you guys lost 6 superstars last year. Yep. Not just average players. Superstar players, I think it's fair to say. And here you sit, double conference champions, 45 wins, heading to a regional, replacing that sort of talent loss. Yep. What does that say about the program?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I got chills you asking that question. It's pretty remarkable for a quote mid-major to lose 3 top 4 rounders and do what we've done. It's pretty crazy. It is, and I think that kind of goes back to the most overused word in college baseball is the culture. But we have a great one here. We have great leadership. We have great leadership in our players. We have great leadership in our administration, where we can do things from a financial standpoint to lure some guys here. And I thought we hit on some guys in the portal as well. And then thirdly, the biggest thing in our program, we call ourselves a developmental program. Our guys are getting better. The young guys are turning into the old guys and turning into the better players, and it's just kind of revolving door, and knock on wood, we can keep this thing rolling.
Is there a tangible to this culture? I mean, is there something you can put your hands on and say, this is why we were able to develop this and keep all of our kids when so many schools can't do that?
I mean, what I think, and I believe wholeheartedly, is we have real relationships with our players and our coaches, and we love each other. It's not, Jake Cook and Nick Monastery and Reed Trimble and Dustin Dickerson, they graduate and we never talk to them again. It's real. It's relationships I'll have for the rest of my life. When those guys walk out on senior day and you got tears rolling down your face, it's real. So I think that's the biggest thing is it's real, genuine relationships with good humans.
Yeah. Coach, if I could add on to this as well, something I noticed from the conference tournament, I really say this as a compliment. Obviously, very proud of what they did, but it felt like the guys were like, this was supposed to happen. This is the standard. This isn't something special. Can you speak to that and kind of how they had the attitude going to the regional, like, this is not special, this is what we're supposed to do?
Yes. You come here, and when we recruit kids, there's expectations here. It's not just coming here and you're happy to put on the black and gold. There's expectations to carry on what previous players have done, previous coaches have done, and this group it's set some pretty lofty goals. And certainly the conference tournament and conference regular season were 2 of them, but they have more, and they're very greedy and anxious to get back on the field.
And Scott, I'm sure you picked up on the love those other schools have for Southern Miss baseball.
I was sitting I was sitting right next to Georgia State, right next to Troy. They had nothing but great things to say about a lot of the players. I mean, seriously.
A lot of words that rhymed with truck.
Well, I was thinking a lot of Disney Channel stuff, really. I mean, a lot of Disney Channel stuff.
You didn't pick up on that vibe, did you, Coach?
With those 2 teams, I did. Yeah, I picked up on that. But it's crazy is like, we very rarely have any stuff on the field. Like, we keep to ourselves. Our guys don't talk trash.
That's true.
I think obviously what we've done these past 7-8 years from a winning standpoint, even longer than that, people want you. They want what we have, and it's it's an honor to protect that for our players.
Well, certainly they're trying to get some kind of competitive edge over you guys, but like you just alluded to, you guys don't fall into that, and I think that's what separates you guys, and you're able to shut out the noise, not just from other teams but everybody, and go and win baseball games.
And Georgia State really tried to do that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and Troy, he's their first baseman. He's a really good player, but he feeds off that stuff. If you start talking trash to him, he's gonna hit a homer. He just does. So
don't talk to him.
We just let's play our game. Let's talk to our players, and we do that all the time. We've done that for years. So
But is it fair to say it got a little chippy in the Georgia State game?
Yeah, that's fair. There was some trash talk going on, and then obviously
from them.
Yeah, and then obviously their coach getting thrown out in the first inning.
It was just amazing, was it not?
Well, that just escalated their players to probably feel free to do whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah. Did we ever determine exactly what the man said that caused
we determined it. I'm not saying it on the radio, though.
Did it rhyme with truck? Is that what you're saying?
It did rhyme with that, but there was something he said before that I told you about.
Yeah.
That he said, but I'm not going to say that on the radio.
Yes. You did tell me that. Yes.
I'm not saying that on the radio.
You'll have to wait till a commercial break for that one.
But that's a compliment to the program. I mean, if you come into a tournament and everybody's gunning for you, that tells you you're the best team there, right?
Yeah, it's we talk about it all the time. You gotta embrace the target on your chest because everybody's coming for you, and that goes for a Tuesday in March too. When people roll in, I mean, you're going to get their best shot. I
want to ask you this before we run out of time because I asked Oz this Monday. We talk a lot about the team, players, etc. But as Travis Creel, what does this success you guys have enjoyed this year mean to you personally?
Well, it means a ton. I mean, I love this place. Obviously, 2 degrees here. 2 of my children were born here. I love Hattiesburg. I love Southern Miss. I bleed black and gold. And for us to carry this on and carry the 40-win seasons on and the regionals on and, host again, it's crazy. It's kind of surreal to think about what we've done over the past couple of years. But we want more. We want to win this thing, Bob, and we want to go down to Gainesville or have somebody come up here and win again. It's just a good group, man. It's so cliche to say, but I mean it. I don't want this to end with these players, these seniors especially, man. It's going to be really hard, so I just want to play as much baseball as I can with them.
How important is it to win Game 1?
I think it's very important. I don't think it's end-all. Obviously, we want to. It's not end-all, be-all. We have won
a number of tournaments after.
Yeah, a number of tournaments. Obviously, the Auburn Regional comes to mind. But, yeah, if you can go 1-0 and then – getting that 8 o'clock game on Sunday, Saturday in front of our fans, that'd be rowdy.
It will be a little bit of a zoo Saturday night at 8 o'clock.
No doubt.
Coach, thank you for everything.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
And continued best of luck.
Thank you.
Travis Creel, everybody. Mark Etheridge from D1 Baseball joins us next. Stay with us.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Hey, everybody. Want to remind you about Royal Home Center in Laurel for top-of-the-line homes without the top-of-the-line price. Visit Royal Home Center in Laurel. Their homes are backed with 10-year warranties. Royal Home stands behind every single home they sell. To see their inventory, visit them on Highway 84 West in Laurel or at royalhomecenter.ms. Want to thank Royal Home Center along with Bank First, Pearl River Resorts, Corner Market Food Stores, Warren & Warren Asphalt for providing us with this opportunity to broadcast the show for 2 hours here Wednesday and Thursday, and of course all of the regular Eagle Hour sponsors, Eagle Tire West, and we'll remind you about all of those throughout the show. Great people. We're glad to have Mark Etheridge from D1 Baseball back on the show with us. And Mark, as always, thank you. A little bit of delay as we're broadcasting from the Pete. A tough field here. This should be a really competitive regional, and you made the comment to us off the air, and I think the average fan may not understand this, but Arkansas Little Rock is a for real opening opponent.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they certainly gave LSU a memorable tussle last year, making it all the way to Game 7 on Monday. They were the last team to beat LSU before the Tigers went on, to win the title. That's a tough four. There are a lot of hosts out there who got easier fours for sure. And then you look at the other two teams, Virginia and Jacksonville State. Virginia is a team that we had ranked pretty highly at times this year. They had some injury issues, went through some struggles because of it, but had gotten healthier and played well late in the year, and they come in, and I'm sure they'll be one of those 2 seeds that people consider very dangerous. And then 3-seed Jacksonville State, double champions of Conference USA. Conference USA was a 3-bid league this year, which was, that's certainly new for them. I feel like they're underseeded as a 3-seed. We had them probably middle of the pack of the 2 seeds in our projections. So it's a tough quartet. Despite an AD on the committee, Southern Miss got a really tough draw.
Yeah, Mark, I was listening to Nerdcast, and you guys just do such a phenomenal job on that show, and everybody should check it out. I know it's past the regionals, but y'all do such a great job. And I heard you guys, talking about Jacksonville State, not necessarily this week, but maybe even a couple of weeks ago as a potential host team. And, the fact that they got a 3, I still can't believe it. Like, looking at all their metrics, I mean, it's honestly shocking.
Yeah, I agree. Conference USA was not respected. They didn't value what those teams did because Missouri State could have been a 2, and boy, did they get a tough draw. They get sent to Kansas, but the tough part is their 2 seed is Arkansas,
is Ole Miss.
Who's one of the hottest teams in the country. And then Liberty they were listed as one of the last teams in the field, and we had them a borderline 2-3 seed. So yeah, it's just you never really know how the committee is going to value a conference or a group of teams. And certainly it looked like Conference USA got the short end this year, while the Sun Belt, on the other hand, certainly was highly regarded.
All right, Mark. When you look at some teams, it all comes down to who's playing well at this time. Give me some teams that on paper are really, really good, but aren't playing especially well right now. Some teams that might be toppled, not because they don't have the ability, but simply because they're not playing very well at this moment.
Well, one of the teams that comes to mind is Texas, and it's not really because they're not playing well, it's just they're beat up. And that's you need some injury luck, especially at the end of a long season. You have pitchers that throw a lot, and that's a team that they kind of mailed it in at the SEC tournament. They didn't throw their best guys, or the ones that they did, they used them in relief for an inning just to kind of get them some work. And so that would be a team I would be a little bit concerned about. Texas A&M for a similar reason, pitching injuries. Aiden Sims, their ace, hasn't thrown in a couple of weeks. They've just had to piece it together. Their lineup's been beat up. It's just, they're a very talented team, and if their full strength team could make it to Omaha and do damage when they're there. It's just a question of, are you healthy enough? I think one of the other teams to watch as far as being vulnerable 1 seed would be North Carolina. Similarly to what Southern Miss is facing, they got a tough 4 in DCU. Tennessee and East Carolina are the 2 very dangerous teams. I see other clubs in there. So nothing against North Carolina. They just got a draw where any of those teams could topple them.
It's interesting that he brings up injuries because guys here in our broadcast booth, wouldn't you agree that that's something that doesn't get mentioned enough is how healthy Southern Miss has been this year?
Yeah.
I mean, really a nagging hamstring here or there, but nothing major. And
especially on the mound.
Yeah,
especially.
And that's a big piece of the puzzle.
So, Mark, there was a lot of chatter around here about whether USM would get one of the top 8 national seeds. They come up 1 short, even though they won the tournament and the league championship. What do you think it was that kept them number 9?
I think part of it was out of their control. There were some teams that got more opportunities to play high-profile games against top teams like Florida, and Florida looked amazing this week. They certainly passed the eye test. They got a roster packed with future pros. it just kind of, I think they just came in and took it. It didn't matter what Southern Miss did. I did hear Michael Alford say, that the committee chair say on the media call, and I heard Dean on there too, that Southern Miss was rewarded for winning being double champions, and that got them 2-9. So that leads me to believe that they were lower heading into it, and the Sunday win actually boosted their seed a little bit. And it's always weird because it's an exercise in what do you value, and two people can look at it and go, well, I really value these high-profile wins, or I really value the RPI, or the strength of schedule, or the quad records, or record against the field, which is something that I personally value. But someone else might look at that differently, or at least weight them differently. And as a result, you're dealing with 10 people in a committee room, and you're trying to reach a consensus. And I feel like that's part of this exercise. A program like Southern Miss, who did go out and schedule difficult games in the early season. Sunbelt was a better league this year, but you just don't get the same number of opportunities, and that makes it kind of a slanted playing field. It's very difficult to get evaluated the same way as teams that face these quality opposition every week.
Mark, good to talk to you. This is Scott Kirk, sports director at WDM here in Hattiesburg TV station. Question for you here. Sunbelt getting 5 bids. What kind of noise do you think the Sunbelt can make in regionals this season?
Yeah, that was quite the story. I mean, say a month ago we were looking at it and we were wondering if we would get more than 2. It was Coastal, Southern Miss, and but boy, with the way the Cajuns really played well down the stretch, they're in Starkville. I wonder though, did they play 7 games in the conference tournament?
Yes.
6 or 7?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 7, and some of those they had to hop on a bus to play in Troy. I mean, what did they have left? Right. I do wonder about that. Texas State's a team that really challenged themselves in non-conference. They'll go into College Station and play an A&M team that they won't be, they won't be scared of them, because that's the kind of team that they play in midweek anyway, and now they get to use their weekend arms. So that's certainly an opportunity there for them to pull a shocker against an A&M team that we talked about isn't as deep on the mound as they'd like. And then you got Troy. Man, I mean, the most impressive thing for me about Troy is after Southern Miss ripped their heart out, that they didn't go into a shell and quit, man. I mean, that's got to be one of the most devastating losses and thrilling wins on the other side of it that I've seen all year. And they were able to show a lot of character and come back, and they got a nod, one of the last teams in the field, and they'll go down and play a Miami team that's a little bit beat up. Their best hitter, Daniel Coude, is not going to play, so maybe Troy catches a break there. I don't like their chances against Florida, but they challenge themselves in non-conference. They have a game. They won a game over Alabama. They won a game over Georgia. So, they've got a proof of concept against these top-level teams. So I do think that, that's another team that will go in feeling pretty confident that they can contend.
And Mark, on the Hattiesburg Regional, I'm curious about the scoop on Virginia. Obviously, Brian O'Connor leaves for Mississippi State. Virginia, I believe they were ACC runner-up. What have they kind of been this season with Chris Pollard at the helm?
Very offensive. They are a team that they can drive the ball out of the yard. The pitching has been a little inconsistent. But they also, it's a lot of new players. And that's part of the deal. A.J. Grassi is a superstar. He's their center fielder. He's going to be a top draft guy. You have to pitch careful to him and make other people beat you. But I do think that's the other thing. Eric Decker's a shortstop. He's one of those guys who was injured, but he's an elite draft prospect as well. So a lot of high-end talent. The question will be whether they pitch enough to especially if they get into the losers bracket. That to me seems problematic for them. Where Southern Miss, you never want to be in the losers bracket, but I do like the Golden Eagles pitching depth should that transpire.
All right, Mark, we really appreciate your input all year long on the show. Really do appreciate you coming on, and thanks so much for your time today, and hopefully we'll have more baseball to talk to you about next week.
Sounds good, guys. You take care.
All right. Mark Etheridge, everybody. D1 baseball. We're still pulling for a Troy Southern Miss Super Regional.
Yeah, but he apparently drew the short straw because he's got to go to Starkville.
Yeah, Fred, that's a good point. We'll be back from the Warren & Warren Asphalt Suite at the Pete. Stay with us.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
Southern Miss to the top. To the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. SuperTalk Eagle Hour at Pete Taylor Park, broadcasting from the Warren & Warren Asphalt Suite. Family-owned business for over 40 years. Paving, seal coating, asphalt repair, residential, commercial, industrial clients, driveways, parking lots, and always emphasizing quality and customer service. And we want to thank again Josh Warren and his great family for allowing us to broadcast from the suite up here. Also want to remind you of Pearl River Resort. That's where you can experience a world-class vacation close to home at Pearl River. State-of-the-art sports book, world-class resort hotel, and 5-star dining. Pearl River Resort gives you a luxury getaway without leaving the state. To book your trip today, visit pearlriverresort.com. All right, Scott is going to continue the last segment with us here. And, Scott, I just want to get your input the last 4 minutes of this hour. Your thoughts about the regional, the matchups, and Southern Miss's chances to get out of this thing.
I know there's a lot made about Jacksonville State and Virginia. Obviously, you could say the tough draw for Southern Miss. But I think this program is at the point where it's not going to matter who they're playing, right? They've set lofty goals. They have the talent. You're going to have to play the best teams anyways. Might as well do it now, right? I really think Southern Miss can get it done. Personally, I'd rather see Virginia 2, Jack State 3 than really a team like Arkansas come in here. I think Southern Miss can get it done. I really do. Yeah. I think they should.
I think it's like the guy on the ESPN host show said Monday. Yeah, Pete Taylor Park's a fun place to play if you're Southern Miss.
That's right.
And so I think you can look at it from the other perspective. I got bad news for you, Virginia, Little Rock, and Jack State. You got a tough draw. You got to go to Pete Taylor Park and beat Southern Miss, and that's not an easy thing to do.
All you can try to do is make the stars align as much as you can, and that has happened for Southern Miss. They got the home draw in the regional. Pitching staff is healthy. They play well at home. So those are the only things that you, to somewhat degree, can control, and it has happened. So now you have to get out and get it done.
Yeah. But also, Kelly, you look at Virginia, Mark mentioned, and look at the turnover from O'Connor. That team has new players, right? They haven't played in this environment together. Jacksonville State, they're up on the rise. Southern Miss is a veteran team. They've been in this position before. They're probably the most held group in this regional.
Jacksonville State in particular and Little Rock not playing in atmospheres like this very much that they're going to be faced with this weekend, right?
Well, I mean, Little Rock played at LSU last year.
Well, I just mean generally speaking, throughout the year, Little Rock's not going to be playing in a lot of out-of-box stadiums and Pete Taylor Parks. Virginia probably is used to playing in front of big crowds, but I would think that for the other schools, that's a challenge for them to overcome. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, well, if you're focused at this point, if you're really doing your job as an athlete, you really shouldn't know what's going on around you. You really shouldn't. You should be. I know it's easy to say, but you really shouldn't. Yeah. If you're focused on what
just
you're
like
doing.
Historically, when I've seen postseason baseball here, I didn't ever really notice the other teams really affected by the home crowd. Now, I've seen Southern Miss respond from the home crowd. I think that's the difference, is when Southern Miss is down and the home crowd gets at their back, and then they get that Pete Taylor Park magic. I think that's where they can lean on the home crowd. I don't necessarily think it's affecting the other teams, at least that I haven't seen. I mean, like last year, you had Alabama play well here, you had Miami play well here, you had Columbia play well here. The year before that, Tennessee played well here. So teams play well here, but I think it's more about Southern Miss getting the extra boost from their home crowd.
Here's the big thing that I want to see from Southern Miss, and Travis Creel commented about this. Yes, they won the Auburn Regional after losing in the first
Gotta
game.
win game one.
Yes, they won the regional here with LSU after losing. I think they lost Game two. They've lost games early in tournaments and still had the depth and the talent to get to the finals, but win the first game. Play 3 games here, right? Is that not right, David?
Absolutely. I mean, if you could win that first game, your pitching staff is set up better than anybody else in that tournament. And it's already probably set up better than anybody else's. I think Jacksonville State's pitching staff is very good. They're obviously top 10 in the country in ERA and have really good arms. But if you're able to win the first game and, like Travis said, play a night game in a winner's bracket game against either Virginia or Jacksonville State, that's what you want. I mean, and then if you win that game, the fact of the matter is somebody having to beat you twice out in your home
the
field.
Atmosphere if they're playing here.
USM hasn't been a 2-0 since I can remember. I don't remember when was the last time they were a 2-0. Maybe in 2017.
No, they always do it the hard way.
Correct. And so if they could just get to Sunday night 2-0, you feel great about this team.
And I have to have
easier said than done.
A caveat on other teams that are not affected by the surroundings here at the Pete. I take it back to a degree. The bullpen of opposing teams are affected because they are subjected to the verbal abuse and punishment of the right field corner, who our people have just
They're brutal.
Man.
Yeah,
the
pitching staff, absolutely.
Yeah,
Now
they'll go to church on Sunday and confess their sins, but until then, they're going to get their money's worth.
Well, I'll take you back to that Monday game. Maybe it was the game before the last game against LSU. I think the crowd affected their pitcher.
Yes, I think so too.
He balked. I mean, they were just on him something awful, and I think that had an effect.
Merciless. Our crowd down there in the corner is merciless.
Right. Second hour from the Warren & Warren Suite, right around the corner. We got lots of guests for the next 2 days. Still to come, Stats McGee. Thomas Ashworth covers Jacksonville State, right? Josh Warren is here, and we're going to bring him in, let him just sit in the whole hour if that's what he'd like to do. More from Pete Taylor Park and the Warren & Warren Suite. We'll be right back. Stay with us, everybody.
Did we bump Beyonce?
The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Normally we're gone this time of the day.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we normally are. Kelly's usually, well, never mind what Kelly's doing this time of the day when the show's over.
He thought he could start drinking, but we had to tell him he has another hour.
Correct. That's what I was getting at. Kelly's usually knocking him down about this time, 2:05.
We have him here. It just shows you that I'm a gamer, buddy. I'm here for the cause.
Hey, special coverage all week on the regional is sponsored by Bank First, Royal Home Center, Pearl River Resorts, Corner Market Food Stores, and Warren & Warren Asphalt. And we're broadcasting from the Warren & Warren Asphalt Suite here at Pete Taylor Park. And I'm delighted to say he's going to do a segment with me later, but and I'm happy to say my dear friend Josh Warren joins us up here. And Josh, first of all, thank you for everything you do, man. And thanks for letting us, this bum group of people, come up here in your suite.
Well, I do my best to tote the load of y'all, and it's whatever I can do to help out. And sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's a lot more.
Especially when he's in here.
I've learned a lot from our affiliation. I used to think asphalt was hemorrhoids, but
Onion says you took a huge gamble by leaving all those snacks out for Kelly.
Yeah, I've monitored it closely. Really, I do want you to know.
And I want you to know that Warren & Warren, they paved the way for the Eagles to host this regional.
Well, see how clever he is, Josh?
We are trying, and we'll pave more if anybody calls us up.
We should point out that the parking lot out here at the Pete, the parking lot at the softball fields, may be more that I'm unaware of, but I know you guys pave those pro bono for the athletic department.
Just driving around this area, there's not much you can't see that's black that we haven't put down as far as asphalt or seal coating or even striping around this whole area. There's miles and miles and miles of it, and glad to do it again.
No question. Warren & Warren has done more. Ben worked here, and Ben knew when I said that earlier off the air. Warren & Warren has done a lot more for the athletic department than the public realizes, right, Win Pigler? No question about that. Hey, Stats McGee is on the phone with us, and we're a little disappointed. Stats, what did you say? How many of the teams did you get correct?
I had 61 out of 64 this year, and took a step back. I got 63 and 24 and 25. I got 61 this year, so I got a.
Who booked him on the show today?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I need to give Mark Etheridge and D1 credit. I got 63 out of 64, so hopefully I can, get back on their level for next year.
What was the biggest surprise of all for you?
I would say maybe NC State getting in, a combination of that and 5 Sun Belt teams. I thought there was a possibility that we could have saw 4 Sun Belt teams in, with probably Troy being that 4th team. But seeing Texas State get in, that was very surprising, especially when you factor in the Sun Belt getting 5 teams. Not only the Sun Belt getting 5 teams in, but the American League getting 1 team in. Those leagues are often compared to one another as being fairly similar. The fact that one got 5 of them, the other got 1, that was pretty surprising. So I think Sun Belt getting 5 and then NC State getting in was what I thought was a pretty lackluster resume. But their coach announced his retirement last week, and that may have been a factor for NC State getting a regional bid.
So I'm guessing NC State is one of the 3 you missed. Stats. Who were the other 2?
It was Troy and Texas State. 2 of them were Sun Belt teams. Yeah, NC State, wow. Troy, and Texas State were the 3 I missed.
Isn't it Mercer that?
Yeah, Mercer got one.
What about them not getting in, Stats?
Yeah, that was a little surprising, especially, I thought that if Troy was going to get in, I thought that Mercer would also be in because Mercer won a series against them opening weekend 2 out of 3. I thought they would have kind of honored that head-to-head, but I guess they thought, that Troy's resume based on strength of schedule, based on, high-end wins, quad 1 wins, I think, kind of put Troy over the edge of Mercer, even with Troy losing that series 2 out of 3. But, yeah, that was, pretty – I actually did not have Mercer in, but the fact that Troy got in and Mercer did not get in, with Mercer beating them head-to-head, that was a surprise for sure.
Mm-hmm. Guys, I'm going to tell you a big surprise for me is that there's not an SEC team in Hattiesburg. You surprised at that, Josh?
Oh, my gosh. I was actually for sure that Ole Miss or Tennessee or somebody was coming here when they were doing the selection. I would have just bet anything that one of those 2 teams are going to be here. I would imagine that Ole Miss, out of anybody, is feeling terrible for being leapfrogged and shipped all the way up there to Lincoln. Yeah. So I'm not feeling too bad about it, but
I don't know if you experienced this, but when I was watching the selection show, they kept going down the tournaments, and teams that we had heard were coming here, Tennessee, Oklahoma, they start getting picked, and I began to think, they're fixing to send Ole Miss here. Yeah. Did you?
I knew it. I just knew it. I would have thought they would have gotten in somewhere closer, even over there to Florida or something. But everybody's been talking this entire week and everything, saying almost positive there would not be 3 regionals in Mississippi. So Ole Miss wouldn't have it. We would have it, and, of course, State would have it. But I just said, well, what's going to happen is Ole Miss is going to be at our regional. 2
questions from me, Stat, then we'll let Demon and Kelly get back in here. 1, were you surprised an SEC team did not come to Hattiesburg? And 2, all regionals are difficult, and I want to emphasize that I fully understand that. But if you look at the 2 Mississippi regionals, Starkville and Hattiesburg, second question to you, Stats, which is the tougher regional?
I think on the first question, I was a little bit surprised. I thought, there was a potential for an ACC 2 seed like a Wake Forest or, Virginia, which ended up what happening with Virginia. But I thought that if there was an ACC 2, there'd be a 3 seed from the SEC. And then, Jacksonville State being that 3 seed, it was really surprising. I think with their AD on the committee, I think he kind of slid them down to a 3 seed as opposed to being a 2 seed at an Athens or an Atlanta or an Auburn. And then with Hattiesburg versus Starkville, I would say that I think Hattiesburg probably a little bit tougher, just because I think you look at kind of the results-based metrics. I think Cincinnati and Virginia are fairly comparable. I think Virginia probably a little bit more talented from just a high-end, draft prospect wise. But I think you look at the 3 seeds, Jacksonville State probably a little bit better than ULL, and then the 4 seed, I think you look at Little Rock being a little bit tougher than Lipscomb. So somewhat comparable. But I do think the 3 and 4 seeds in Hattiesburg a little bit tougher. And then, the 2 seed Virginia versus Cincinnati, I think probably comparable based on the results-based metrics, but Virginia has a little bit more of that high-end, draft talent.
Patrick, I know that you, as soon as the teams were announced, you get onto the internet and stuff like that and look at all the potential pitching matchups and things. What can you tell us about Little Rock's ace, who Southern Miss will face on Friday afternoon?
Yeah, he's a good arm. Brandon Westmoreland. Hard to kind of find velocity numbers on him. It's not widely out there to, on some of these reports. But, I think at one point in the fall he might have been 94 to 95. I think, as the season's gone along, probably closer to low 90s. But he's a guy with a 3 ERA, a whip, I think, 117, 118. And, he faced Missouri State, which is a good lineup. And that's a lineup that, an at-large team that, with the OPS in the 900s, and he went 5 2/3 and only allowed 2 runs and struck out 9. So he's faced good competition and done well. So he's not, going to be, a Jackson Flora, a guy that's impossible to hit, but he's a good ace and, one that, can present problems to this USM lineup.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about – I totally forgot my question. But I was gonna ask you next about Southern Miss winning that first game. I know that you put a tweet out about it. I know we've talked about it a lot here on this show so far, but something that they've struggled in, winning that first game of the last couple seasons, and with the pitching staff, how good would it set them up to win that first game?
Obviously that's key, and like I tweeted out, but at USM in regional home openers is 2-2. With a run differential of -6, which is kind of weighted down by what happened in that Columbia game last year. But I think, winning that first game and not having to burn Colby Allen, I think that is really crucial. And I think you really see him as someone that in a winner's bracket game you could extend for 3 or 4 innings against Virginia or Jacksonville State. So I think winning and, preferably winning by, 4 or 5 or, runs, not having to burn Colby Allen in a close game, I think that's, really pivotal to USM's success in this regional.
Patrick, would you agree that watching the Golden Eagles play in Montgomery, it was the depth and talent of their pitching staff that was the difference? Yeah,
especially, when you're factoring in what some of these other teams had. ULL was bringing back guys that had thrown 150 pitches or something. The guy they had thrown on Sunday, I think he had started on Wednesday, and then he came back in relief on Friday, and then they brought him back on Sunday. They were completely running on fumes, whereas, USM had used a bunch of pitching as well, but they weren't in that desperate shape. So being able to stay in that winner's bracket and not having an exhaust pitching like ULL, that really ended up, proving to be really important for the conference championship.
Real quick, Patrick, just hypothetically, if the favorites win, and I know we'd have you back on the show next week if in that case, but quick peek ahead to Florida.
Yeah, really talented team. I think, it all starts with that rotation, Aiden King, Liam Peterson. That's one of the better 1-2 punches in the country. So it's a team with really good starting pitching, and the offense has started to come along. Now, they do have some head-scratching losses as well, but, they're a team that, when they're playing well, is, among the best in the country and has a chance to win it all, quite frankly.
All right, Patrick, we appreciate you being on the show. We're very likely going to get you back on the show next week, but you're going to have to get better at this. For you to miss 3 teams, that's just an inexcusable stat.
Yeah, and him not having Troy potentially in the field, yet another reason why Troy fans will not be hands across America with Eagle fans the rest of the year.
Stats, thank you very much, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
Patrick McGee, everybody. All right, we'll continue from the Warner Suite here at Pete Taylor Park. Josh Warren is with us. Coming up, Thomas Ashworth. Well, he covers Jacksonville State, and all I've heard from you two guys all week is how great they are. So we're gonna get his perspective. I would say they've ran up a big win schedule in Conference USA, but that's just my opinion. More from Pete.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Bank First, with all the technology of a big bank, but with hometown service you know and trust, Bank First can handle all of your banking needs, from checking accounts to ag loans and everything in between. Bank First can handle it all. To find a Bank First near you, visit bankfirst.com. Now, before we move on, our regular segment sponsors every week, Eagle Tire West, Movie Star Restaurant, Dickey's Barbecue, D-Bat, Jewel Masters. We want you to know we appreciate all that you do And we'll be back to talking about you regularly when we get back in our studio, and very, very grateful for all that you do for the show, as we are for all of our sponsors, and especially grateful to Warren Asphalt for allowing us to come up here. And Josh, again, thanks, man. It is humid and raining outside, and this is like paradise.
It's comfortable in here, isn't it?
Yes,
it does
very
definitely
nice.
spoil you. You get to watching enough games and everything, and every so often you get to come in the air conditioning. It sure is nice. It makes the game a little bit better.
It makes it great, and it would be sticky and pretty uncomfortable outside right now. So we're grateful to you for that. All right, we want to welcome Thomas Ashworth to the show. He writes for AL.com and covers Jacksonville State. All right, now Thomas, I want to be nice about this. My partners here have told me all week how awesome Jacksonville State is, and I'm sure they're a good team. Do they have any idea what they're walking into here at Pete Taylor Park, Thomas?
I mean, I don't know if Southern Miss has an idea of what they're getting with Jack State. I mean, it's a loaded regional, and they're a really good team. They're coming to town. I mean, they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder of being a number 3 seed, I think, but I mean, this is a really good baseball team that's won a lot of baseball, so it should be a really fun regional.
No, we're picking with you.
Yeah.
We do fully understand what a great year they've had, and with Virginia here, and we hear. I watched Arkansas Little Rock take LSU to the wire last year in Baton Rouge. You're pretty damn good if you can do that. Is that not fair to say?
No, I mean, I was like, oh man, that's the same team that beat LSU, like you said. And I mean, they got a really good pitcher. I mean, you look at the 1 through 3 seeds, but you're kind of forgetting about that Little Rock team that was able to, get that win and get to the finals. I don't even think they finished 500 going into last year's regional, but I mean, it seems like they've reloaded and they're a really good team. So that's kind of the forgotten team in this regional. But I mean, it's loaded, like you said.
Thomas, this is Dima. I wanted to ask specifically about Jacksonville State. Doesn't seem, at least on paper, a team that, hits with a lot of power, but it just seems like one of those teams that, doubles and singles you to death and really makes you work out there from a defensive perspective.
Yeah, I don't even think that they rank, in the top half of Conference USA in home runs, but they just have so many really, really solid hitters this year. I mean, Jackson Pate, redshirt freshman, didn't play last season, but gets in the lineup this season and is batting .351, Conference USA Freshman of the Year. I mean, and then guys have kind of come along as well. Sam Richardson's been a really good player for Jack State in the last couple of weeks, was MVP of the conference tournament, and I don't even know if he qualifies in NCAA for stats just because of how little he's played, but he's really come along and hit 2 walk-offs in the Conference USA tournament. And I mean, you look up and down the roster, and like you said, I mean, this isn't a team that's going to hit a bunch of home runs, and they're capable of doing that in some spots. I mean, they're certainly able to do that, but I mean, like you said, they're just really good at hitting for contact, getting on base. I mean, they're just really solid all the way around. So just 1 through 9, they're just really solid and have really kind of emerged themselves as the leader in Conference USA. And then once things started going, it's like, oh crap, this team has a chance to be really, really good. And obviously they've won a ton of games, so they have a lot to show for it.
And I was just going to ask, and then the pitching staff, I mean, it's ranked top 10 in the country. The only team it's behind in the top 8 is Southern Miss in pitching staff. Southern Miss is 7 and Jacksonville State is 8. What about these arms? And I believe it's all lefty rotation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the year, it was Eli Pillsbury was kind of the ace of that group, and I think he had an ERA below 1 in his first 7 starts of the year. And then it's kind of flip-flopped. Stephen Cash has kind of taken over, and he now, I think, has an ERA of like 2.9 or something like that, and I think ranks the first in Conference USA in ERA. And, those two guys, and then Bo Bryan's, their third starter, was also an All-Conference USA pick. And, I mean, they have a new pitching coach that came in from Campbell, and he's done a really good job for them. And, I mean, even in the bullpen, guys like Skylar Hutto, 2.15 ERA is pretty good, but, I mean, he has a whip of, like, I think under 1 and a batting average of, like, 150 allowed. So, I mean, guys like that have really, really been good. And you just look at Conference USA, and obviously outside of the Jack State and the Liberty and the Missouri State and Dallas Baptist, who didn't qualify for a regional for the first time in, like, over a decade, I think. Got those mainstays at the top have been really good, but outside of that, it's been a little bit different. But Jack State has been really good, but leads, I think, the second place team in Conference USA in ERA by like a whole run. I think that they're at 3.77 and Liberty's at like 4.73 or something like that. So really good pitching staff, just really sound from top to bottom, and the bullpen's been really good as well. And I don't know if they get enough love just because of how good the starters have been for Jack State.
And let me tell you, the listeners of this program need to get used to Jacksonville State being around on the national scene because the parade of talent continues. In fact, Jacksonville State has signed or has commitments from 2 Pearl River Wildcats in junior college play. Of course, Pearl River is in Eden, Oklahoma. They could very well compete for the national championship again this year. Drew Harrison is one of those pitchers that is committed from Pearl River to go to Jacksonville State. And the standout center fielder, Nico Williams, is also headed to Jacksonville. So those are really solid players. And if that's any indication as to what you guys are bringing to town, you're going to be fine for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and Jack State, that's kind of what they've done in the last couple of years. I mean, this is year 3 under Steve Beazer, and they've improved. Like last year, they had the most wins, added to their season, and this year they're having the year they've had. And a lot of that is because of those JUCO players. I mean, they've really dove into Mississippi, and Steve Beazer has connections, really good connections with at the JUCO level. I mean, really successful at SEMO, and then went to Missouri, and now bring in a lot of really good names to Jack State just through the JUCO level. I think that they ranked 3rd in the JUCO class for last season. I think Kansas was number 1 or number 2, so they're right behind Kansas, who is now hosting a regional. So, the JUCO talent has really carried Jack State, and I think if you went through all of those contributors, I think about half of them would probably be JUCO guys who have really made the most of their opportunity coming up.
Well, you answered what was going to be my question. I mean, with all due respect, I mean that sincerely to Jacksonville State. That's not a school you think of when you think of great collegiate baseball. Is it the coach that came in 3 years ago that you mentioned? Is he the man responsible for this great success?
I mean, Jack State's only had a couple of coaches since they started the program. I mean, Rudy Abbott was there; he started the program, and then Jim Case was there for a long, long time, and he was kind of the figurehead of that program. And then he retired, and then they brought in Beazer. I mean, this is kind of the guys that Jack State's AD Greg Seitz goes for, and he's on the baseball committee as well. But this is the kind of guys he goes for is SEC guys who have been around, has those connections, and just needs another chance, and he's done a really good job. I mean, he knows how to do things. He kind of, I don't want to say changed the culture, but just because that's how it was bound to change when Jim Case stepped down after a long time. But I mean, he knows how to get guys in shape. He knows how to evaluate talent. He's gotten in some really good picks. I mean, Sam Richardson, like we were talking about, is a guy who was at Texas, didn't play, and then has come in here and has really found a role. And all those JUCO guys, I think, speak for themselves just because of the way that him and his staff are able to evaluate talent. But a lot of it's due to the players. But I mean, Steve Beazer's had a big hand in that, obviously. But I think when I saw Coach of the Year that he earned that, I think it was well deserved.
And real quickly, can we expect the Jacksonville State Gamecock faithful to travel to Hattiesburg this weekend? What's your expectations there?
Yeah, this is a really good traveling school, and I mean that. I'm not just saying that. I mean, they travel for football, and I mean this is a program that's really rich in tradition, going back to the Ohio Valley Conference when Jack State made the national championship game and lost to Carson Wentz, and made a couple of NCAA tournament appearances. And Jack State's the only team in Conference USA that's had a softball and a baseball team win the conference tournament. And Dan's traveled really well all the way to Tallahassee, and just for that, I mean, it's a drop in the hat for a drive to Hattiesburg, to a really great venue and a really cool home field advantage for Southern Miss. So I'm sure they'll travel well for sure.
I wanted to ask kind of what you thought for the first matchup for Jacksonville State against a team like Virginia. Obviously, perennial college baseball power. Really good bats. It seems like to me a really good matchup, Thomas. I mean, you got, like you talked about with Jacksonville State's arms, and then Virginia with their offense, and who's hit almost 100 bombs this season.
Yeah, it feels like a matchup that it feels like it's going to be a matchup that's either like 1-0 or like 12-11 or something like that. It's just bound to be one of those matchups that goes either way. So, I mean, I think that Jack State's obviously going to go their number one arm, and he's been really good all year. But Virginia has some really, really good players and really good bats. So I really don't know which way this one's going to go, but I think it's going to be probably the best first-round matchup and probably across college baseball.
All right, Thomas, thanks. Thomas Ashworth, everybody from AL.com, covers Jacksonville State. We'll be back. More Eagle Hour from the Warren & Warren Suite here at beautiful Pete Taylor Park. Stay with us.
Southern Miss to the top. To the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
Hey, everybody, for top-of-the-line homes without top-of-the-line prices, visit Royal Home Center in Laurel. Backed by 10-year warranties, Royal Home stands behind every single home they sell. You can see their inventory. Visit them on Highway 84 West in Laurel, or get on the internet and check them out at royalhomecenter.ms. We're broadcasting a 2-hour edition of the Eagle Hour, and we'll be on the air for 2 hours tomorrow. And another great lineup tomorrow. Sean Jones, who is not only the number 2 athletic director here, he will be the tournament director. He will be joined with baseball administrator Lee Applewhite.
Wow.
Well, he really actually wanted me to say Mr. Lee Applewhite, and I apologize for that. So they'll be here. Davis Wilson from the Hattiesburg American. Wow.
Well, we'll have him here the short after the game. He's going to the Starkville Regional. So
the Hattiesburg American. We're going to have an interview with Graydon Harris that we did actually day before yesterday. We think you'll enjoy that. We can't wait for 2 o'clock tomorrow, Josh Warren. We've got Scott Berry and Hill Denson at the same time here in your suite. Oh. No telling. That could go sideways in the first 30 seconds.
Well, let me just say this about that. I'm going to be wearing shorts when those two come in.
Yeah, no question.
It's going to be pretty deep.
Glenn Dyer, who does a tremendous job covering Southern Miss sports, he'll be with us tomorrow. Justin Harris, who's a former baseball pitcher himself and at Pearl River Community College and also at Sanford. He'll be here with us as well.
Can I, as we thank Travis Creel, who joined us in our first hour, can I just follow up on something? There was a question that you asked. One of you guys asked about what does this mean to him as a person. All right, and he was very humble in his answer. But as a person on the outside looking in, here's what it should mean, and I'm just going to throw it out there. This should mean raises for everybody on the staff. Unfortunately, in America, right or wrong, we judge people's value by what they get paid, and they get paid based on the success that they've had. So they haven't said this, the coaches haven't said this, but that's what it's about. If you're doing a good job, you're popular, you deserve to be paid more. And I don't care what they got paid last year. You're rewarded for the good work you do. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, just because you two get paid so much to be on this show because of your popularity, you shouldn't put that burden on other people.
I'm just saying, would you not?
I can't believe how much Ben Windpegler gets paid. I mean, he rides up in his limousine every day, and we have to get patted down by the Secret Service, to even talk.
4 times what they were paying me, I found out this week.
Yeah, his car, the rolls canardly. It rolls down one hill and canardly make it up the next. Yeah.
Oh, way. You knew he would have another one stuffed away somewhere, didn't you, Deema?
I don't want to know what he has stuffed away.
But I mean, I just
no.
I just wanted to put that out there though, because this.
No, you're right. They do a phenomenal
job.
And quit calling for Travis Creel to be fired. I swear to God, that's just gotten so old. And you said that earlier when he left, and you said that is the last person here that needs to be fired.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, you're right. All right, Josh Warren is joining us on the set. And again, Josh, thank you so much for letting us be up here. I got to tell you about Warren & Warren Asphalt. When I came to SuperTalk 16, 17 years ago, Warren & Warren Asphalt was advertised. They really are one of the charter sponsors of SuperTalk, and I know Steve Davenport would want me to thank you for that.
Yeah, we try our best to stay around, and it's just basic work ethic and being honest with everybody. And we do what we say, and we try to do the best job we can. And it's just like anything. You can't always please everybody all the time, but you can try your best.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the simple fact that if there is a problem down the road, we're going to be there. My dad said it best, if sometimes we're not going to always be the cheapest price out there, but it's not always because we're apples for apples. It's not always going to be the same price. We're not always doing the same thing. We have a different equipment, different talents, and what we do, we try to do it better than everybody else. And we'll do the extra effort to make sure it's the best looking job out there.
Yeah.
We actually care about what we're doing, and so if it turns out to where something's wrong, things do happen, we'll come back.
Well, it means something to have your name on it.
Right.
I mean, you better back, right? I mean,
Right.
you shouldn't put your name on something that you're not willing to back up.
That's right. It's a family business that's been around for a very long time, and we just do whatever we need to do to keep the lineage going on. I mean,
How much have you put your name on?
Oh, gosh.
Police blotters,
Yeah.
several of those. His name.
I
is
saw it
on
on the
those.
most wanted sign once.
Yeah, at the post office. He was there at one
A
time.
couple of bathroom stalls, but that's another story, too.
Josh, I apologize for bringing him up.
imagine.
I probably won't bring him up tomorrow to the suite if you tell me not
I've
to.
never been in this suite before.
Well, we
there's
know
a
why.
reason. And guess what? When the show's done, you're
Take
not coming
pictures.
back.
I'll remember this.
Thanks, Josh. Take pictures.
take pictures.
Because there'll never
Is that
be,
what he said?
Yeah. Because there'll never be a second time, right?
I was just telling him that he took a big gamble, setting out all these snacks, and Kelly's already on his 5th bag of chips over there. Even though he told us yesterday, I'm losing weight.
I'm dieting. I'm eating
a
healthy.
salad. I'm eating a salad.
I'm
with
eating a
seafood.
salad,
diet.
boys.
Hey, down from 5 bags. I'm down to 5 bags of chips now instead of 10 per day. So that's cutting back. a little
Baby
bit.
steps, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Take pictures. That was great, Josh. Take pictures. Your dad, Larry Warren, my dear friend Larry Warren, started this company 40 years ago. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, then he's already had another company before this, and he's been just paving all of his life. I mean, he had quite the long lineage and knew everybody, so it's just something you do as he started a very young man into Warren Paving and everything else, and with everything to do with all our last names. And with all the paving all around this area, as this beautiful city grew, we grew, and they just keep growing. And so it's really a good thing.
He took me, and I'm so glad he did this. He took me to a little reunion a few years ago. He had with some of his buddies in Baton Rouge. And he took me all around. He showed me where he was raised and what have you. Your dad was a true American. I mean, he was a self-made man. He came from humble beginnings and built this really successful company from scratch, didn't he?
Oh, he was a huge personality. So
Oh, my gosh.
you might get one side of the personality, you might get the other side of the personality, but there was some definite upswings to both of them, and all of them loved him, and it was a great life.
And I do want to say this for people that may not know. We lost Larry last year unexpectedly, and I don't know, Josh. You and your wife are so gracious to all of us, and you carry this on. But his presence has been in this room all year long, hasn't it?
Oh yeah. He still has his chair out there.
He does. We don't let anybody sit in it.
That's his spot.
Yeah.
Right there.
Nobody sits in Mr. Larry's chair. A great man, and I don't want to upset you, but it's a loss, that for my wife and I, it's just been tough, and I know for you it's been far tougher.
Oh yeah, but we are up here with our baseball family, and you're here, and everybody else is here, and we have a great time, and it just makes it just so much better.
He would have wanted that, wouldn't he?
For sure. He didn't want anybody to soul up and just turn into a hermit crab, and he wanted to just live your life, keep on going. And I read this note the other day that he had for me. It says life wasn't meant to go in easily. It was meant to slide in and go, wow. It had some interesting words in it and everything. But basically say, wow, what a ride, He said but it's basically that's how he lived life.
And for the record, not everybody has been up here.
No?
No. But you take a few photos. He gave you permission to do that. I was surprised he even allowed you to do that, but it's his suite.
I'm thankful for anything I can get. Yeah.
Josh, you have a pretty big love affair with this baseball program, don't you?
Oh, man. Yeah, a lot of these kids, I mean, we see them up there even on first pitch. We get to talk to a lot of the kids and really get their personalities, and some of them, like Trey, he's a great kid. We get to talk to some of them, and, some of them call it cocky and some of them call it confidence. I want to call it confidence on some of them, because when they say they're awesome, they go out there and they actually hit a couple good home runs, they're pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy that and really get to learn who they are, not just as a player but as a person, and get to see how they're playing and what they're doing. And you hate to see it, but sometimes they have to sit out because, everybody has upswings and downswings. And you just like our baseball family, their kids are out there, they're trying their best, and sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. You have to do what you need to do. And as for the team, the coach makes the call. You need to sit down for whatever reason. You're having a bad moment. Your girlfriend broke up with you or whatever's happened to you in your personal life, but you need to take it for the team and sit out, and it hurts. But then we all get back up and we start playing again, and everybody gets to playing good ball. And here we are. Hopefully we stay on this upswing like we're doing right now, and we beat everybody out in 3 games. And
you talk about confidence and cocky, and that question comes up a lot of times with people who maybe have not competed at a high level. But look, make no mistake, if you don't have that feeling about yourself that you're better than that other guy, you got no business being out there. And I don't care if it's on the golf course, on the tennis court, or whatever.
Business.
Correct. If that's your opponent, you're going to respect them, you're going to prepare for them, but you're never going to think that I don't have a chance.
Right.
And baseball, I think more than any other sport, you don't have to be 6'8", 350 pounds like some football players and things like that. There's so many different ways to skin a cat in baseball.
All right, we've got one more segment to go. Josh Warren is up here with us in his beautiful suite. And look at Pete Taylor Park. Is there a prettier sight than that? My gosh.
Well, I better enjoy it for 12 more minutes.
Yeah. Well, you do maybe get to come back tomorrow for a couple hours.
Okay.
We'll be right back, everybody.
Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Pearl River Resort, that's where you'll find an experience and a world-class vacation close to home. It's right at Pearl River Resort. State-of-the-art sports book, world-class resort hotel, 5-star dining. Pearl River Resort gives you the luxury getaway you need without leaving the state. To book a trip today, visit pearlriverresort.com. And Kelly, when you get thrown out of the suite, maybe you could go up there for a weekend.
I know there have been a lot of people that have done well in the casinos up there. My money, however, has contributed to the beautiful buildings there.
Has it?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not one of those people that
I'm sure. Talk about a beautiful place. Look out this window. Is this not a gorgeous baseball stadium? I mean, I'm sure there are other schools that have stadiums of this caliber, but I don't see how anything could be much prettier than that right out there.
It'd
Anyway,
be a lot prettier with the sun. Don't they ever know?
with the sun, and we did notice that on the boards out here, Josh, they're practicing putting up the weather delay sign. That's not a good indication.
I really am not looking forward to seeing that at all, because normally when you get to see that, it's hours of sitting up here, and we're just enjoying each other's conversations just like we're doing right now, except for hours of looking at each other.
Well, you know what Dima here is most excited about? He has to write stories after the game, and the games are scheduled to start at 8. But with weather, I think there's probably a pretty good chance we could have a 10, 11 o'clock start. Start, Dima. Dima? Are you with me?
Hello?
I'm sleeping to prepare my body for that.
This man looks tired, doesn't he?
You know, and you got to say, too, Bob, and we talked about this in the break, when you look at athletic budgets, and look, one of the things I like about this show is we're not paid by Southern Miss, so we can call it the way we see it. We don't have to tote the company line if we don't feel that it's right. But Southern Miss, what they do, particularly with this baseball program, with some of the athletic budgets of all these other schools that you're talking about, it really is remarkable.
No question.
You just wish that basketball and football could get it turned around. You really do. But when you look at the budgets of all these other schools, and Southern Miss baseball-wise just continues to crank out great products on this field every year, and people say, well, Southern Miss fans are fickle. Well, aren't all college football or college sports fans fickle? If you win, they're going to support the program. If you don't, they're not. And I don't care whether it's Notre Dame or whoever, there's going to be chances that they're just not going to get the support if they're not as successful. In Indianapolis this weekend, we were talking some of the IU football fans who were bragging about their great football team. And I just said, well, to put things in athletic budget perspective, Kurt Signetti, the head football coach at Indiana, who drove the pace car, by the way, for the Indy 500 this past weekend, his salary is $15 million. And with all of his extra incentives and the shoe contracts and TV contracts and all that sort of thing, the Southern Miss athletic budget for all the sports is $30 million.
Yeah.
So, one guy, one person.
Well, Josh,
salary.
don't you think that situation could improve if Lee Applewhite would work a little harder?
Just a little, or just work a little.
Maybe quit spending so much time up here in the suite when we're trying to watch baseball, eating our food, and go raise some damn money, right?
He's got to be.
Well, he's not joining us tomorrow.
Well,
there went that segment.
I'm going to get a phone call now.
And just as you guys joke about,
you look forward to them phone calls from Lee.
I do. I actually like the phone call. Lee's awesome, great guy.
Yeah, gee, what could Lee want?
Yeah.
Right? And as you guys look out on this sign and joke about the weather delay sign, look what's happening.
Look at it. Oh, it's flooding.
It's raining again.
Yeah. But we don't want we don't want our fans to have their spirits dampened though this
You
weekend.
won't mind if I bring a pillow up here this weekend with you. I could crawl over in the corner and just nap a little bit during the rain.
Well, it's going to be exciting to get the fans back here for a regional, and I know that I said earlier about Southern Miss and the home field advantage that they have here. It really is special. Historically, I've seen other teams play well here, but certainly you have to admit that anytime Southern Miss is playing behind their home crowd, they are elevated to a level that you just don't see in other places, and that's just something that is amazing about this park. And something that's so exciting to see postseason baseball here.
No question.
I mean, and other fans. I mean, Miami's head coach, when he was interviewed about going to Florida, with the regional that Miami's going to this year, he said, "Yeah, we played in tough environments before. Nothing was like Pete Taylor Park last year."
He said that.
Yeah, and so he said we're okay with going to Gainesville. And like you said, Bob, I don't know if Virginia and Jacksonville State and Little Rock, they've been in environments, but this is just a whole other scenario right here.
It's hard to match, huh, Josh?
Yeah, it is.
Now we can't even see the field since it's raining so hard.
Right.
Yeah, if Florida loses their regional, then we will get to host our Super.
Yeah, you know what we're hoping? We're hoping for a Troy Southern Miss Super Regional.
Oh, my gosh, that would be great. I have had so much fun watching us play Troy.
And to all members of the harassment army in the right field corner, all hands on deck this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Be at your best.
Yes.
Work out and get ready for this.
In this case, be at your worst, which is also the best, I guess.
I'll tell you, a lot of people are joking about Troy Southern Miss Super Regional. I don't want to see it because I know that there's a possibility of the other side happening, and I just couldn't bring myself to even watch it happen.
Oh, no, I don't.
And
I've never done that. I've left any regional that we haven't won. I've left before the other team dogpiled.
Could you imagine if Troy would have won that? And I would pick Southern Miss, of course, but I wouldn't want Troy here just on the outset that they could win.
Josh Warren, thank you for letting us up here.
Oh, I'm glad.
And more importantly, thank you for being a friend, man. I really mean that. We'll be back tomorrow for 2 hours, and you're obviously welcome to come and stay as much as you like.
And Kelly, make sure and get all the pictures you can tomorrow.
Yeah. And stay away from the snacks.
Of course, I go to take pictures, and it's pouring, so I can't even see the field.
All right, more Super Talk Eagle Hour tomorrow at 1 o'clock. 2-hour show from the Warren Suite here at Pete Taylor Park. Thanks for listening, and Southern Miss
to the top.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.